Hi, everybody. My name is Tony. I am the manager of career experts here at FlexJobs, and we started right at the top of the hour. So I'm going to not speak for a few seconds just to let everyone get settled in Big Marker and get things figured out. So we'll get started in just another few seconds. I hope everyone's having a great day. And some of you have already seen in the chat to let us know where you are joining from. So if that helps you figure out where the chat section is and the Q&A section, please let us know where you're joining from. It's one of our favorite parts of the webinars. And we have someone from Morocco, Virginia, New Jersey, New York, Illinois. Some people are getting snow. I live in Florida and in the northwest part of Florida, and we have snow flurries in our forecast next week. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Bundle up, I think. Okay, we've got people joining. Perfect. Let's see where we're at. All right. Okay. As you guys get situated, again, thank you for joining us for this exciting FlexJobs webinar with Lynne Williams. She is fantastic. We are always so appreciative when she joins us because the information that she is about to share with you is going to be really valuable for you, whether you are looking to level up in your career, whether you're a job seeker, whether you've never done an elevator pitch before. All of this information is going to be so helpful. But before we get to her, I just want everybody to know that we are recording this session. So we are going to send you a link to the recording within the next few days. So whatever email address you used to register for today, that is where the email will go. You'll have a link to the recording and the resources or handouts that Lynne is sharing with us today. So lots of information you can take with you. If you don't want to wait for the link to the recording, you can go to the handout section in Big Marker. It's right next to the Q&A, and look at that resource, preview it, and you'll have links to everything for today, including the slide deck that Lynne is going to go over. And so if you want to follow along there, great. If not, you'll have that for yourself after, and you can go back through when you are listening to the recording and have all of that information. Lynne is a excellent career professional helping with networking and networking through career transition for job seekers and career management for employed and self-employed people. She writes resumes, LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn company pages, and focuses on company words. Her company is Career News Today, LLC. And so, Lynne, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. One more thing before I turn it over to you. We will have a few minutes for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. So if you have any of those, please make sure to put them in the Q&A section so we'll be able to go through as many as we can with our time that we have today. All right, Lynne, without further ado, thank you and hello.
Well, thank you so much for having me back. I'm delighted to be here. I've been speaking here for a couple times a year for a few years. So if you are a client seeker, a job seeker, or somebody who is a career professional, you are in the right place. I've got tips for everybody. So not all slides are going to pertain to you because I'm tapping into these different markets. But you will get some ideas for your elevator pitch. Now, if you look at the resources, you will see that there is a link to this deck. I don't do PowerPoint, I do a Google slide deck. And then I also wrote an article, and I have included that article. And there's also elevator pitch formats where you can access that article. So here we go. What is an elevator pitch? It is a very brief statement that you can use to kind of spark interest on what you do or what your organization does. And we're going to explore key elements and strategies in order to allow you to craft a compelling and memorable elevator pitch. So it originates from the idea that you are in an elevator ride, and there's typically about 30 seconds, give or take, that you're in that elevator. So you want to be able to be very concise in saying what it is that you do, who you are, what you do, what problems you solve. Now, can your LinkedIn headline align with your elevator pitch? Absolutely. So you can see there are hyperlinks here that I have built into this deck about how your LinkedIn headline and your elevator pitch can align. I love the share through headline analyzer, although it's changed in the past, I don't know, about 8 months ago. But you can also come up with a unique selling proposition by using ChatGPT, as getting fodder for your ideas on what it is that you do. Then you can put your headline or that USP into share through and come up with something. So I'm going to try and do a quick little demo on that. So how do I create a LinkedIn headline? Well, you want to focus on a key title followed by some keywords and your USP. Now, there's different ways that people approach doing a LinkedIn headline. So this is how I approach it. There's no one right way or wrong way, but this is how I approach it. And I do use Emojipedia to maybe put in one or two emojis, but I do that towards the end. So here's a LinkedIn headline example. All right. And I put the prompt in, create a unique selling proposition of less than 10 words for someone who is a software test engineer and delivers a high quality user experience. So where did that high quality user experience come from? That actually came from a job description. So I added that key title, keywords, the key softwares that were in that particular preferred job description, and the USP. And this particular headline at the bottom came out to be 216 out of 220 characters. And this was for someone in California. And she since changed her headline because she did not get invited for the job, but she was trying really hard for that job. So she's tweaked it a little bit. So let me go on ChatGPT. I hope I can get onto it from this platform. I may not be able to. I may have to switch my screens. I'm going to do that demo a little bit later. So, because I have to switch to another Google platform. But let's just go over the types of elevator pitches. There's a general pitch, a one-word pitch, sales pitch, investor pitch, job interview pitch, a question pitch, and a rhyming pitch, and a tagline pitch, a one-sentence pitch, and a competitive pitch. I'm not going to read all this to you because this is the link to this deck, and you have to process all this stuff, which takes a little bit more time. So you have to also think about these other pitches that might come up: product launch pitch, networking pitch, nonprofit pitch, problem solution pitch, and educational pitch. So as you can see, there is not one size fits all. There's different pitches for different purposes. So partnership pitch is another one, and then the subject line pitch and the Twitter pitch. And then there's the Pixar pitch, believe it or not. So different strokes for different folks. So you've got to have an elevator pitch to make a memorable first impression. You want to make it clear. Clarity is important. Okay, so you can communicate your value proposition, personal branding statement, or USP, unique selling proposition. In order for it to be memorable, you want to make it concise. I'm kind of a fangirl of a 15-second pitch, which is less than the 30-second pitch. So that will come up in a few slides. You also have to make it compelling so that you make it interesting and pique somebody's interest so that they want to learn more. And for career success, networking is absolutely critical for career success. So you have to communicate who you are and what you want to be known for, and focus on a solution to the listener. Now, depending on where you are and who your audience is, you have to pull out different pitches from your brain, so that you can say something that is appropriate on the spot, because one size does not fit all. And you have to adapt to the listener's background. There's different people in different industries or professions that are in your industry who might understand some vernacular and acronyms, but there's people that might not understand those acronyms and industry speak if they are not in your particular industry. So you want to research your audience to make sure it's relevant and tailor your pitch to their pain points, and tell people what problems you solve, what pain points you can take away so that it resonates, and you can differentiate yourself to your audience. So, where you might give your elevator pitch? Well, you might be at a social event, a networking event. You could be at a party, a doctor's office, grocery line, volunteer event. So that would not be for business purposes. It would be, um, outside of the business world. But then you might be with clients, vendors, colleagues, seminars, professional meetings, trade shows, etc. And then if you are a job seeker, you might be at a networking event or having a conversation with a recruiter or an interview where somebody asks you that all important first question: tell me about yourself. So there are a bunch of different structures for an elevator pitch that I'm going to share with you today. And this one, I think, is my personal favorite, by Steve Woodruff. And this is this 15-second pitch. So he says brevity is the key. That way it's memorable, right? So you have a clear, concise, one sentence statement that gives a vivid image. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see something about, I guide you to your keywords to beat the bots. That is my elevator pitch, but I want to start it with, hi, I'm Lynne Williams. I guide you to your keywords to beat the bots, Lynne Williams. So I want to repeat my name afterwards. And hopefully somebody's going to say, oh, what do you mean by beat the bots? And I will then go on about the importance of keywords in resumes and LinkedIn. But hopefully that vivid image of the bot piques somebody's interest to ask me more. So I think it's about 9 or 10 words that I use for my elevator pitch other than my name. So that's why it's called a memory dart if you put a vivid image in. So Steve's personal memory dart is: I'm the world's only clarity consultant. In less than a day, I help individuals and companies discover their offering and distill it into a clear, compelling message. So here it is, my memory dart, and I just, reiterated that I guide you to your keywords to beat the bots. So I am consistent trying to build that into my LinkedIn headline, as well as share that when I'm at various networking events. Now, here's an example of an elevator pitch, an introduction, who you are, what you do, your value proposition, the benefits of your product, service, or idea, and why you're unique, and a call to action. What do you want the listener to do? Call me, email me, uh, text me. So join my email list or visit my website. So that is a call to action. You're inviting somebody to come and share with you to learn more. So credit to Amy Dinning for this job seeker elevator pitch. Hi, my name is. I help provide, am passionate about. I have experience in, my strengths are, and I'm looking for a position up. Then we have another example. Hi, my name is. I help the type of audience that you're trying to help. Do you do or understand problem so that the desired outcomes are? Now, here's a credit to Alex Freund. Alex is an interview coach. He's based in the Princeton area of New Jersey. And I'm actually going to be having lunch with him in Princeton when I'm there speaking on Valentine's Day. So I love his little structure for an elevator pitch. And you might want to visit his YouTube channel because he's got some goodies there. And here's his tip is to make it short, latch on to something that listeners already know, and create an association in the listener's minds, and use a short sentence that rhymes. So I love his little example that he gave when Johnny Cochran used O.J. Simpson's trial, and it says, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." So that would be an example of a rhyme. And if you want to use a cliche that's appropriate, you can do that, such as if you're a photographer, picture's worth 1,000 words. You can also introduce an element of surprise. I saved a woman's life. And so he says writing in a successful elevator pitch is challenging. You've got to write it out and you've got to practice it. Practice it in front of a mirror and practice it at a family event or with friends so that you can, try it out and get feedback on that. Now, Bryn Tillman is a LinkedIn guru. She's also out of New Jersey, and she helps people with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, so LinkedIn and social selling. I think the world of Bryn, and she's got a really great platform and community that she runs. And she has a very simple headline formula for LinkedIn: who you help, how you help, and why they should care. So you could take that particular headline example and turn it into your verbal elevator pitch. Then Ford Myers, I think he might be retired now, but he wrote a book that I really enjoy. And it's all about job search. So check that out on Amazon. Look him up, Ford Myers. And he has a little bit longer example of an elevator pitch. So here's his example. I'm a project management professional with 6 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. My strengths include organization, problem solving, and management. I'm known for my ability to improve efficiency and develop profitable business processes. I'm exploring opportunities where I can significantly improve the productivity and efficiency of business projects. So, as you can see, he's saying that my strengths include organization, problem solving, and management. So that might be an opportunity to reflect on a job description, and perhaps those three elements might be in the job description, and you are reiterating what it is that are your strengths, and they do mirror with what's in the job description. So, that previous example also aligns with a profile summary paragraph on a resume. Um, Title with X years of experience in the whatever industries, expertise in, strengths include, known for. So when I write um, a resume, I always have a profile summary paragraph of 5 lines or less so that it's super duper concise. And those are my starter sentences that I typically use. That can also be put in the about section of LinkedIn, and I would include emojis. I would break it up with white space in between, these bits and pieces of sentences, so that it is more skimmable and scannable to read. Now, when you are dealing with a resume, you want to write in first person implied I, and typically pronouns are not used on resumes. So we're not using I or we or me or are or anything like that. So instead of saying I am a digital engineering leader, we just go straight to digital engineering leader. Now, Ken Schur is also a career coach, and he has his structure for an elevator pitch with problem, solution, why you, value, and a call to action. So here's his example. Here's the problem. Leaders are often frustrated by a lack of decision making and are often frustrated by the initiative and engagement from their team. Solution. When leaders build trust, their teams are transformed to act like owners by changing the way that they manage teams. So why you? I spent nearly 25 years at Johnson and Johnson where I led leadership development teams to design, develop and deliver world-class training in this area. And what's the value? The bottom line is that you can transform any team by focusing on 5 elements of trust. I'd love to discuss this with you further. When can we schedule a time to talk? That's the call to action. So, a couple of these examples are a little bit longer, but they might be, appropriate for different situations that you're in. Now, Laura Templeton wrote a book called 30-Second Success, and she just sent me a proof copy of her next book, which I'm excited to take a look at this weekend. So you can look that up on Amazon. And her formula is what's their pain? How do you solve it? Call to action, who you are. So, what is it that you do? And tell people how you solved a problem in your current work and experience. I help, I develop, I create. So you've got that action verb in there. Now, Johnny Walker is in England, and his formula is I help person at place achieve purpose as measured by performance by doing process. Um, and I think he might have a YouTube channel also, so you can check him out. Now, this one I just added to the deck and to my article. I had Ari Weinstein come and speak for my nonprofit organization not too long ago, and I really liked his framework. So he has a book called Personal Branding at Work. You will not find that on Amazon. It is a link where you can purchase it directly, and his book is listed down at the bottom. So it's you, your work, and your impact. So who you are, what you do, for whom, and how your work matters. So, Ari's example is I'm a coach. I help career professionals strengthen their personal brand messaging so that they can find new opportunities at work. And then there are a couple other examples that are there for, I guess, his clients that he shared. And you've probably heard of Seth Godin. He wrote an article called "No One Ever Bought Anything in an Elevator," and he notes not to pitch a project, but the meeting regarding the project so that it begs the listener to hear more. So, in other words, it's a conversation starter, and you can read his article to learn more. So, want to catch a hook, you want to pique somebody's interest. So, if you have a hook to grab the listener's attention, so that, you can start that deeper conversation, and get them to ask questions. Oh, tell me more, why are you unique and special? Use a relevant fact, a question, or a surprising statement. Clear and concise messaging and the KISS method. Keep it simple. Brief to the point. That's really important. You want to avoid jargon and technical terms and use simple and relatable language. Now, delivering your pitch with communication excellence, if you are in person or on Zoom, you want to dress for the appropriate experience and situation. Smile with your mouth, your eyes, and if you are in person, you want to give a good firm handshake. Now, I know different parts in the world, there are cultural differences. So if you happen to be in North America, we typically give a nice firm handshake with palm to palm. And even men to women, you don't want to give a wet dish rag kind of handshake. So that you give good contact and have appropriate body language. And here's a little networking tip. So if you are at an in-person event and you're typically wearing a name tag, you want to wear the name tag on the right side of your body so that when you shake hands, right hand to right hand, the extension of the hands, people's eyes can go from the top of the extension of the arm up to the name badge so that you can connect that name with that person for better memory. Now, a lot of gentlemen might be wearing suit jackets and they typically want to put their name tag on the pocket. And I'm going to tell you that that's not the place to put the name tag. It would be on the right lapel. So when you are delivering your pitch, you also have to think about the tone of voice. Are you exuding confidence and passion? Are you professional, authentic, and positive? Are you providing the message with a good pace and cadence? You're not speaking too quickly or too slowly. You want to clearly enunciate the words, no jargon or slang, and you have to make it relevant. You don't want to sound like a robot. So the best way to do this is practice, practice, practice. As I said, practice with your family, practice with your friends. And I run a virtual job seeker group, even though we're based out of the Philadelphia suburbs. We have people that come visit us from around the world and around the country. So, greatcareers.org, we do have some career success networking groups where we don't have speakers. And it's a great place to practice your elevator pitch and ask for feedback. It's safe zone. So as I mentioned about the handshake, you want to extend, the right hand to right hand and make really good contact and make a nice firm handshake. You don't want a wimpy handshake because that's part of your brand. And you don't want to ramble on with irrelevant details. Focus on your future forward, where you're going for your next client, your next job, your next opportunity, or career advancement. You want to build credibility with the listener. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you have to build that warmth into what you say and what you do. What value do you bring? Are you friendly, personable, charismatic, and are you believable? So one thing that you might also do to help build credibility as well as create visibility and discoverability is commenting on LinkedIn. So if you are trying to reach people in a certain target company that you'd like to work for, or target company where you'd like to seek a client, comment and participate on LinkedIn and don't use AI. Use your own authentic voice to comment with at least 12 words or more so that don't look lazy with 2 words. Great article, nice read, worth attending. Like, don't do that. Write an actual sentence so it shows like that you know how to write a sentence. Now, you might want to come up with a unique selling proposition. A USP is what I call it. Some people might call it a personal branding statement or value proposition statement. So, how do you become that purple squirrel to differentiate and distinguish yourself from other people? How do you highlight what sets you apart as a Scrum Master versus another Scrum Master, for example? Why should the listener care about what you're offering? What makes you different from that competition? And what are the benefits you provide? Maybe features, note your purpose rather than your skills. So, stories and examples. Storytelling is big. So if you have real life examples and stories to illustrate your points, people remember stories, but you have to make it relatable, um, and ditch some of the facts and figures. It's more, that storytelling that's really going to draw people in. Explain how your product or service can benefit the listener, address the pain points or needs, focus on the value you provide. That value is important. So, again, credibility. You want to highlight your achievements, credentials, or experience and build trust, showing that you're qualified. Use data, testimonials, or case studies. So when it comes to highlighting achievements, so for example, on your resume, although you can have uh, qualitative accomplishments, I'm really big on quantitative accomplishments. Dollars, percents, numbers, telling people how you helped a company make money, save time. You can't go into too much detail doing an elevator pitch with all this, but you can back all that up, in a resume or on your LinkedIn profile and put those quantified accomplishments and achievements in writing. And again, back to practice, practice, practice. It's got to flow naturally off your tongue. Record yourself. You can go on Zoom for free and, look in the camera and practice your elevator pitch, and then you can watch it back and see how you did. So you don't want it to be rehearsed. You don't want to read it on a Zoom call. You show that you're authentic and enthusiastic. And there's also nonverbal communication. Body language is 55% of the communication process. 38% is tone of voice, 7% is words, and that is according to UCLA professor, psych professor, um, Albert Mehrabian. So you want to pay attention to your body language, your tone, your pace. You have to smile. Smile with your eyes, smile with your mouth, um, and use open gestures. It's okay to do a little talking with your hands, but you want to exude confidence and enthusiasm. Be adaptable, and you do have to modify your pitch based upon feedback, the situation, the audience. Um, as I said, different elevator pitches for different situations. Some elevator pitches might be shorter than others. Obviously, a 15-second elevator pitch, quick introduction, is going to be very different from when you're at an interview and people say, "Tell me about yourself." So, show your flexibility and your responsiveness. And with that call to action, what do you want the listeners to do? You know, so here's an example. I'd love to discuss this further over a cup of coffee or a virtual coffee. Can I get your contact information? Here's my business card. Um, I hate going to networking meetings where people are just running around the room, shoving business cards into people's faces. It's not about the quantity of people that you're going to go meet, but the quality. And if you start building a relationship and maybe meeting fewer people at a networking event, that might be more beneficial to you than running around shoving those business cards in people's faces. So really listen to the people and what they're about and ask questions. And absolutely thank the listener for their time. So, elevator pitches are powerful tools for making memorable first impressions. You want to use the tips provided to create a compelling and memorable elevator pitch. Um, I'm going to go through the rest of these slides and then I'm going to switch Google Drives because I want to do a couple live demos as to how you might get some of this information. So, my upcoming speaking events are listed on the left, and the upcoming workshops with the Great Careers Network are listed on the right. Here are my upcoming speaking events. Got a lot of good things coming up from now to the end of the year, and I'm sure I'll be adding more. So here's a little bit of information about me, how to contact me. Please feel free to reach out and connect on LinkedIn and add a personal note that you were here today through FlexJobs. So if you did not catch the link in the resources that are on this platform, here is the deck to this, so you can access this deck, the link. And again, please feel free to reach out and connect on LinkedIn. If you click on the top right article, you'll see in 2023, I was listed as one of the top 15 LinkedIn experts in Philly. And in 2024, I was put on an international list. There's a link there in blue on the right. And then also I was on that list in 2022-23 on the link below. So let me go and I'm going to switch screens now because my ChatGPT account is on a different platform. So here we go. We're going to stop sharing this screen. And now I'm going to share this screen. And here we go. So, ChatGPT. So, how do you find your unique selling proposition? Here's what you can do. You can put this prompt in. Create, or let's say write a unique selling proposition in, let's do less than 10 words for someone who is a, let's do a web designer and graphic designer. So we're going to see what ChatGPT comes up with. All right. So here, response 1 from ChatGPT is create visually captivating designs that drive user engagement. And response number 2, creating captivating digital designs that tell your brand story. Well, I like number 2 better, but I can go on this little roundabout thing and I can click on try again. Oh, it says you're giving feedback on a new version of ChatGPT. Okay. Well, that's not working. That's always a bad thing when you're doing a live presentation and your software doesn't work. But hopefully, you get the idea that you can get this unique selling proposition by using ChatGPT. It's going to give you a little bit of fodder. So I'm going to pull up somebody who um, has given me permission to pull them up, who actually was a graphic designer and a web designer. So here is Dan. And he is from Australia, but he's real close to me, 15 minutes away in Pennsylvania. So here is a key title: creative director, senior graphic designer, branding strategist. He's got 3 key titles. And then here's his USP: creating compelling visual stories to elevate brands from down under to up over the top with cutting edge creative solutions. So we're weaving in his authentic Aussie self into the headline with the little kangaroo emoji and then the top up arrow emoji. I hope everybody's hearing me okay, because I have a little notice that my network is unstable. Am I okay coming in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just want to double check. So when I go back to ChatGPT, and I don't know, I may have to put this in again because I need to snag that particular response. Okay, let's just use this one. Transforming ideas into visually stunning and functional digital designs. So we're just going to use this one, and we're going to go to headlines.sharethrough.com. It is a paid platform, but you can probably run it through a couple times for free. And I'm going to paste that USP, unique selling proposition, into ShareThrough. And I don't want a digital ad. I don't want a social post, blog post, email marketing, press release. I'm just going to click on other. So now I want it to analyze. Okay. So it says sign up for free. Okay. So I'm going to sign in. And it's going to give me 5. Okay. Now I'm signed in, I guess. And I have to analyze again. Oops, I put it on digital ad. My bad. Let me do. other. All right. So here it's given me a score of 78, which is green, which is great. And then it'll give me 6 other scores. High relevance, 90%, moderate punchiness, 70%, clear communication, 85%, somewhat catchy, 65%. So that could be improved a little bit. Good context, 80%, and moderate emotional impact, 75%. So 5 of the 6 categories are giving me green. So if you think of it like a traffic light, red is stop, yellow is yield, and green is go. So that's a pretty good USP. So if you go to greatcareers.org, I'm going to put in USP as a keyword in the top right, and you will see this article. Do you have a USP, unique selling proposition, personal branding statement, or value proposition statement? So I've explained the difference between each of these, and there's also this article on being memorable about LinkedIn. So you can read more about that so that you can come up with something unique for yourself that'll work perhaps for your LinkedIn headline and also align with your elevator pitch. So again, different elevator pitches for different situations. So what questions do we have that have come up? Do we have any questions?
We do have a few, Lynn. Thank you. This was really great and very
All
helpful.
right.
And actually, the first question is sort of related to what you just said about maybe different elevator pitches for different situations, but curious to see what you would say to this person who's asking, what if I have multiple skill sets not necessarily related, like in legal, maintenance, administrative skills? How would I create a LinkedIn headline?
Hmm. You can put different keywords in after a title that you're sort of going for if you're a job seeker. And let me put in somebody else's LinkedIn profile who I have permission to share. So remember I told you about the profile summary paragraph. So here's example of project management, okay? That is a key title, and project management has better hits than project manager. Here's other keywords, and then here's picture perfect project plan from inception through release. That's her USP, and she used alliteration. So let me go down to the about section. What do I mean by not putting paragraphs in, putting short and sweet bits of pieces of information and the emojis, as well as white space. So here's project manager. That's the other version of project management. So we get that in there. What industry, expertise in, strengths include, known for. So if you can't get all those words in your headline, you can certainly weave it in to this model so that you get your whole story in there of the industries that you're in. I hope that answered your question.
Very good. Next question. So, resume guidance typically says not listing number of years of experience all of the time. Does this advice apply to elevator pitches? I know that when you presented one of the ways or processes for an elevator pitch, it did mention years of experience. So, what are your thoughts there?
Ah, interesting. There is ageism, and age discrimination is alive and well. I have somebody who's a nurse of 48 years. Am I putting 48 years on there? Absolutely not. Okay. We put, over 20. That's a good, nice round number. So here on LinkedIn, I take out the years of experience, but we do put it on the resume. But it's also up to the person. There is a digital footprint for everybody And even if you're trying to hide the date that you graduated, dimes to donuts, somebody can figure it out and find out. So I say, why play games? Just put it out there, and embrace the fact that you're not overqualified. You're absolutely qualified. You can mentor high potentials and younger people. You can help with succession planning, and you can onboard quickly, saving the company money. So embrace your experience and your seasoned professional experience when you are responding to somebody who's asking, "Are you overqualified?" But I wouldn't. I don't know that I would put, again, the 48 years of nursing experience. I've had some clients that have had 30 or 40 years of experience, and we just put 20, over 20 or 20 plus.
Perfect. Thank you. What about you when you have a job that doesn't give you access to the percentages or numbers, or like it's harder to quantify achievements? How do you work around that in an elevator pitch?
Hmm. Um, in an elevator pitch, personally, I'm like the shorter elevator pitch. And I don't know that I would put um, too many quantificational achievements in there. I think that's meant more for the resume and the LinkedIn profile. Maybe if you want to throw one in there because it's a story and you can tell how you've made impact. But I wouldn't go crazy with all kinds of numbers and dollars and percents. So let me go back to Valerie. If you look at her experience, you'll see bullet point, white space, bullet point, white space,
Mm-hmm.
and everything starts with a verb. And then there is a metric in each and every one. It may not be a metric that is individual contribution. It may be worked on a team of 8 people, supervise 2 people, worked in a company of 700 employees, worked in a company that does 700 million a year, worked in a company that covers 3 continents, or something like that. But you can get numbers some way, shape, or form. But it doesn't necessarily mean you want to like blabber all those numbers in an elevator pitch. Perhaps one.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you. I've got 2 questions that are similar, so I'm kind of combining them, but it really has to do with if you're just starting out in a new field and your experience is limited. Any advice there?
Mm. You always want to position yourself for your future forward. So, for example, I have a Marine Corps colonel, 30 years in the Marines, and he wanted to be a CIO or CTO. So he wanted to go into corporate America or higher education. So we have to position him in this new field with future forward keywords that are civilianese keywords and not military keywords. So on the Great Careers website, if I put in the word pivot, I've written almost 300 articles. So here it is, time to reinvent yourself. So tips to make a career pivot or reinvention on LinkedIn. Oh, there, look at that. How to career pivot as a veteran, return to work, or reinvention in a new industry. So feel free to read these articles. It's all about the positioning statement at the top and the keywords. So I have somebody who's a production supervisor and he wants to go back to sourcing and procurement and supply chain from whence he started when he did his internships in college. And so we rewrote the top half of the resume if you think about a piece of paper, the top half of the resume, and you fold it in half, you want the above the fold to speak clearly as to where you're going. I've had people who are managers who want to be directors. So the verbiage has to be positioned accordingly for the job that you want, not the job that you have. So if you're fresh out of college, or if you're in college and you're looking for an internship, sometimes humor helps. So I've had clients who have said, "Hey, take care of my kid." You know, they're looking for an internship, and I've put in rookie as that first line in LinkedIn and in the top of the resume, because they are rookies. You know, they're
Sure.
looking to get a start. So maybe that word rookie makes you smile in some way, shape, or form. You want to be memorable. So here's another example of someone who I didn't write his LinkedIn profile, but I did make a couple hints on his LinkedIn headline. So here, empowering small businesses with comprehensive digital solutions, web development, graphic design, branding, and marketing. Huff and puff and blow that old website down to make your branding oink. So if you were to look up oink, okay, that's that vivid image, you know,
Hmm.
and I just heard you laugh, right?
Yeah.
So if we have oink and I do first level connection, look who's coming up. Hey, I met this person at a networking event, and for some reason or other, I got their business card. I can't remember their name, but it's that oink that stood out. So there's an article I wrote. If you look up headline, here it is. You are the best. How to boost your LinkedIn headline score. There's somebody I found on LinkedIn, and she had integrated digital marketing professional. And I used share through and I took it through different examples. So here I improved a score. Integrated digital marketing professional, social media, email marketing, SEM, SEO, web services, graphic designer, Google Analytics, all keywords, right? But here's the USP: conversions and engagement better than hot, buttery popcorn at the movies. Okay. See, I made you laugh again. So it's that memorable, make an impression. And yeah, you can go off a little bit off your normal pitch, depending on the situation, if you can add humor or that vivid image. So, you know, I'm a integrated digital marketing professional, and my conversions and engagements are better than hot buttery popcorn at the movies. So now I've just turned that into an elevator pitch without the other keywords.
Hmm.
But if people giggle or laugh and remember the popcorn, you know, I bet you dimes to donuts if I put, this is not my client, but if I put popcorn as a keyword, and look at, I have 24 people who have popcorn in their LinkedIn profiles when I go to do a search. So if I did locations, I don't know, let's try Greater Philadelphia. I'm down to 8 people. So some way, shape, or form, they put this keyword that's memorable into their LinkedIn profiles. So you can do that and make it align with your elevator pitch.
Very good. Now, since we're on LinkedIn and we're talking about kind of digital networking, somebody is just asking about, it used to be in-person meetings, shaking hands, meeting people in actual elevators. How much of this has changed with virtual over the last few years, and how do we need to adapt? What would you suggest there?
So let me go. I'm going to just show you something here. Here's our meetup group, and you can see we have 6,933 members of Meetup. We've been around since 2010. We used to run 1,000 events in person per year. I kid you not. So now we had to adapt from the pandemic. So here's go back to greatcareers.org. Here's the events quick list page. And we run all these events per month, like 18 to 25 events per month. So when you get to something like career success group, job seeker accountability and networking, that's that safe place to practice your elevator pitch and to say, what did you do in your job search last week? What are you going to do in your job search this week? Network with other people, connect, grow your network on LinkedIn. So it's a live interactive meeting. It is not a webinar. So people are able to talk to each other. So that's where you have to have a short and sweet elevator pitch. And then you also have to have questions like, hey, I'm looking for a connection for Cisco or Merck or Pfizer or GSK or some company, and you ask for networking connections because 80% of jobs, up to 80% of jobs are found via networking. It's not just who you know, but who knows you. And you want to use LinkedIn to make warm introductions for different people. So we have another event. It's called Virtual Job Seeker Support Group. And that is there it is, second Thursday of the month. And the Dr. Dominique Kleiger is the host, and she's from Brazil. So if you speak Portuguese, she can answer to that. So we do have these networking meetings aside from these learning opportunities.
Very great. I think that's a great place to end. We're out of time. Thank you so much, Lynne. And I know that we've got in our handout section and resources section ways for people to get in touch with you. Is there anything else? Any final thoughts that you have before I send everyone on with their day?
All right. Well, thank you again so much for having me, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Thank you. And everybody, please look for the recording in just a few days. Lynne, it's always a pleasure. I hope you have a great day. I hope everybody out there in the audience has a great day, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much.